What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Rant and Review Pro Wrestling. Yes, I am still alive. We are back talking about what's going on in pro wrestling. And the one thing I really wanted to talk about, and I wanted to talk about this last week, I didn't get a chance to, is this whole thing going on with Jon Moxley, the paradigm shift, as I'm calling it, that's emerging again because of Jon Moxley and All Elite Wrestling. And this, where it could go, because it has some NWO vibes for it. From the very first line he said to Tony Schiavone about it's not your company anymore. And it makes everybody kind of wonder, what's the end goal of this? We're seeing a little bit more of it now after the ridiculously crazy angle that they had with Jon Moxley, basically trying to suffocate Bryan Danielson with a plastic bag. He's going after Darby Allin, trying to get Darby, I guess, to be part of his group. Like, Mox's motivations are not very clear. And this could be a benefit or a complete danger for All Elite Wrestling, because you're looking at probably one of the more sophisticated storylines for pro wrestling that you're going to have, which is the mysterious or reasons for the heel to do some little nefarious faction thing, that they're just being coy and vague about everything. And the fans want that if you're going to do that, it has to be something big and monumental that is the big reveal. And if it's not, it's going to leave a bad taste in fans' mouths, and that has been the death of many a promotion, or at least leading to a downturn of any promotion. Probably the biggest one of these that in my wrestling history is the Black Scorpion deal in WCW, and everybody got all excited about that when I was a kid. And WCW was, after it stopped being the NWA, Crockett, was kind of down for a while, and Sting was the world champion, so that was the first time something really big is happening in WCW. And then it turned out, as we found out over the years from Ole Anderson and everybody who was there working on that thing, that they really didn't have an idea of where it was going. And some of the ideas that they did have would have not been exactly the most interesting things. It would kind of been a big disappointment. So, AEW's in that position right now. They're in a good phase. I'm enjoying the storylines that they're telling. It's a much more vicious place now. I think we're entering if AEW had a ruthless aggression era, I think we're in it, with the amount of ferocity coming from the likes of Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland and Darby Allin, and even, Jack Perry and those guys are doing some rough stuff, and a lot of blood, a lot of really crazy bumps and things like that. So amidst all of that, above all of that, is now going to be this Jon Moxley faction, this paradigm shift that he's got with Pac and Shafir and Castagnoli. And Wheeler Yuta, he wrestled his first match since this whole thing on Collision this past weekend. I think that's probably the coolest thing coming out of it. It does put some spotlight on Wheeler Yuta. And it's a lot of times a question. AEW's had a hard time getting their young talent to evolve. Like, the guys that were kind of stars, even though they were young, you kind of saw them as stars automatically, like Darby Allin, MJF. You see those guys first time, you can tell that they got it, when they were at AEW. Then there's some other people like Wheeler Yuta, Private Party's another one, who they debuted in AEW as young wrestlers that many people hadn't seen anywhere. And it's been years, and very few of those guys have actually really progressed into anything. Even Brian Pillman Jr. went over to NXT. Ethan Page, those are guys like that. Ethan Page, they tried it in AEW, it didn't pan out for them, so they went to NXT. Wheeler Yuta could have easily been one of those kind of wrestlers, but now I think the whole thing of aligning him with the Blackpool Combat Club, and now he's got this really interesting role in this Jon Moxley storyline right now. I think that's going to help elevate him a little bit more. I don't know about, I mentioned Private Party. I mean, I was commenting this a friend a couple weeks ago, like, Private Party's is 5 years of Dynamite. Private Party's been there for 5 years, and they have not evolved at all, period. No, they are the same exact thing. They are on the same exact position on the card. I think about them in the same way I did 5 years ago. So, and particularly Shafir and Wheeler Yuta. How are they going to get the rub out of this? That's what we really want to see. And I think that is what's ultimately going to come out of this. Now, again, what the motivation is behind Moxley that we're all wondering about, that could be a bust or that could be a stroke of brilliance. So we're going to have to see on that. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think this is going to wind up being another... I've mentioned the Black Scorpion many times talking about AEW booking sometimes, but could this be a Black Scorpion moment for AEW in the sense that it's anticipation of something big and might be a letdown? Or do you think that they're onto something hot? Do you like the new extreme aggressive era of AEW we are in right now, with everybody just being bloodthirsty on up and down the card? Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. Until next time, I will see you guys here for more news, rumors, and reviews on the Rant and Review Pro Wrestling. Have a good day.